I live in Tel Aviv, and I've been living in Israel for about 14 years. And I have to tell you something, that Israel is not a spiritual place. It is not a spiritual country. If you would like to reconnect with your religion, you will be surprised when you arrive here about the interfighting and the interconflict amongst the different sects within the Jewish community. If that makes sense to you, I'm sure it does, then think about that. You have other Jewish people thinking that other Jewish people are incorrect and wrong. It's very similar to the Shiites and the Sunnis, the interfighting amongst the Muslims. What about the Christians, the Catholics, the Baptists, the Episcopalians, all of it? Interfighting, interconflict. I'm better than you. You're worse than me. I'm right. You're wrong. And you think you're going to move to Israel and that's not the case? Get out of here. Yes, I have read the Quran, the New Testament, the Old Testament, the Torah. I've read them all. And I can tell you, Israel is not a spiritual place whatsoever because the spirit is within. So please don't look for a culture of spirituality. You will not find that. Understand that your spirituality and your religion lies within you. And when you arrive here, don't be surprised to find a bunch of interconflict amongst the different sects of Judaism. Cool? So today's video is going to be a little bit harsh for some of you. Many of you will not like this video. Some of you will say that I'm generalizing and criticizing and being negative. And you could be right, but I'm still making the video anyway. Today's video is going to be about the truth of moving to Israel, the truth of living in Israel. And if you're thinking about making Aliyah, you better stay tuned. So first things first about living in Israel, it's very expensive. Depending on where you're coming from in the world, for sure, the cost of living in Israel is more expensive. I don't have any doubt about it. The salaries are generally low. The cost of rent, food, clothing is generally high. And you better keep that in mind. Certainly, you will want to have savings prior to getting on a plane and moving to Israel. That's for sure. In addition to the cost of rent and clothing and food being incredibly high, so is the cost of having an automobile. You will be surprised when you go car shopping and you find out how expensive a car is, and certainly to upkeep and maintain the car with car insurance and gas is incredibly expensive. So overall, there's not one aspect of Israeli lifestyle that I would say is affordable or cost efficient. No, things are overpriced. Get ready for it and then get used to it. Now something else for you, something important for you, is to understand that Israel is located in the Middle East. And I will tell you this, that there is continuous, forever, perpetual conflict here. Israel, to me, is the land of hate. And it's a different sort of hate than I'm used to in the United States. Don't get me wrong, there's hate everywhere in the world. And it all tastes relatively the same. But the emotionality of hate in Israel is something unique. It's very special because it's older and it's been cooked and stewed a lot longer. And yes, for me, as I come from the United States, the hatred that I've experienced there has a bit of a superficial taste to it. It seems like it's coming from a place of naivety and ignorance. But here in Israel, more importantly in the Middle Eastern area, the hate is coming from a place of certainty, a place of arrogance, and a place of confidence in the negativity, in the hatred, and in the stance of negativity towards other people, towards a way of life, towards a society, and towards many various factors in which this hate blooms and blossoms. Yes, everybody in the world knows that the Middle East is the home to conflict, and they are not mistaken, which leads us into the next point. The war in Israel is real. If you plan to move to Israel, plan on experiencing a war. Air raid sirens, fear, negativity, hate. You will experience it here in the Holy Land, my friends. And you will understand what war is like. Not war on your front step, but war at your neighbor's front door. The war is unavoidable. It's going to happen. It's perpetual. And it's only a matter of time before you experience it. So, be ready. Don't be surprised when you move to Israel when your first war happens. Expect it, and I think it will be different than you think it will be. You will understand that the news is propagandizing, if that's a word. The news is proliferating and promoting the concept of war. Propaganda is real. And you better believe that the conflict is being brewed and cooked and stewed for the young men and women on both sides of the conflict to be coming out into adulthood with PTSD. Post-traumatic stress disorder is a real thing in Israel. Keep in mind, everyone in this country has served in the armed forces. And certainly this will leave you with a bit of a traumatic background. Understand this when you move here. Understand this is the truth. Please don't be offended, but if you are, you'll get over it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll speak with you soon.